Hi everyone, it's Lydia, aka Thriller Agent, back again with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about grounding. I don't mean like grounding like go outside, touch grass, and like go barefoot in the dirt, you know. I'm talking about coming back to yourself, grounding within yourself, within your being, getting out of your head and getting into your being, because oftentimes when grounding is discussed, it's like, oh, come back to your environment, oh, like look at like 5 things in your environment that's around you. And it's like oftentimes when we're ungrounded, we don't want to be where we're at. We don't like something about our physical environment, our surroundings, whatever's going on around us. We don't like it, so we disconnect. We disconnect from the physical and we go into our head, right? So the last thing you want to do is acknowledge your environment. You don't want to acknowledge where you're at. You don't want to acknowledge what's going on. That's the last thing you want to do. But you have to understand that in order to change your circumstances, you have to be present. And I'm not saying don't have an imagination. I'm not saying don't, visualize what you want your life to look like and what you'd rather have than what you have now. But I'm saying that in order to actually make that change, you need to be present with yourself. You need to be grounded within yourself. You need to be present in your physicality in order to make those practical changes. You need to ground that energy of imagination and visualization into the 3D in order to make actual tangible changes in your reality. When you're ungrounded and when you're all up in your head, even when you are overthinking, you're disconnected from something because either one, you want something, but it's not yet in your 3D reality, or you don't want something in your 3D reality and you're trying to avoid it or cope, you know? And when that happens, you need to ground. And it's not even about fully accepting what's happening in your environment. You don't have to accept what's happening in your 3D reality if that's not what you want. If you want something, then you need to figure out how to practically get it right and make it happen, or what you need to do in order to call it in or align with it. And if you don't like something within your reality, your 3D reality, then you need to ask yourself, what do you want instead? Or do you just not want that thing there? And then you gotta ask yourself, okay, what do you need to do? And it's not always like a go-getter action. It's not always that. Sometimes it is. Obviously, it's gonna depend on your situation, but at the end of the day, you need to change something within yourself, how you operate, what you embody, how you're embodying whatever, how you're showing up. And in order to really embody something, you have to first embody. And in order to embody, you have to be present. If you're not present, if you're up in your head, you're not doing anything about XYZ, then nothing's going to happen. Okay? 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to happen. I feel like we intuitively know when to take action, when something is up to us, and when something is not up to us, But where most people go wrong is they try to fight the tide. Excuse me, Mom. But it's like when a wave is coming in, you got to make a decision. Are you going to swim with it? Are you going to float? Or are you going to surf it? Either way, you got to make a decision, right? Because you can't swim against it. Like, nobody wants to swim against the tide. Nobody wants to swim against the current, That's just not wise. It's just not the best decision. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna let the stream, we're talking about for rivers now. You're gonna let the stream take you down the river, find out where you're going. Do you need to go on shore? Like, what's going on? Do you need to surf it? Do you need to build a boat? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with the water? Because either way, the water is going to flow. Okay, you can't control that. Are you gonna build a dam? Do you want to build a dam and like stop the water flow? Like, either way, it's gonna flow. It's gonna flow, and you gotta ride the wave, follow the tide. Either way, so how are you gonna do that? Either way, you have to take some sort of action. You have to make some sort of decision, right? And you can't do that if you're just in your head, okay? You have to be fully present, especially if you want to make the best decision for yourself. You have to take everything into account. And again, when you're disconnected, you don't want to take everything into account. But that's where the magic happens. When you take everything into account and then you really sit with yourself, you say, what can I do with this? What can I do? If it was up to me, what could I do? What is up to me? Figure out what's up to you, you know? What tools do you have at your disposal? What can you do with them? What skills do you have, you know? What options do you have? And make a choice, right? But you gotta do that from a grounded place. And it's not, again, it's not about attaching to your environment and your circumstances, whatever you're dealing with. It's about coming back to yourself, because you're the one who has to make the choice. You're the one who has to take the action. You're the one who has to make the decision, correct? You can't do that when you're outside of yourself. Okay? So ground into yourself before you ground into your environment. Operate from here, not out here, you know? Okay, anywho, that's the video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below whatever you were saying on there. Subscribe for more. I love y'all. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye.